Clap. All right, everybody, good morning. Thank you so much for coming in today. I'm so glad that we got a new person here today, so welcome. I'm trying to find my notes that I put together. All right, so this is the Wednesday AM writing circle coming to you from Playa del Carmen, about, I don't know, maybe about a 10-minute walk to the beach from where I'm located, which is super nice. Oaxaca was beautiful, but it was way too hot. It was entirely too hot, so I had to come back down to the south in Mexico. And hopefully, I'm hoping I'll be able to stay here for a while. But so far, so good. I've been here about, this is my second, and this is the start of my third day. It's third day here so far. So, and it's very nice. I went to a vegan restaurant yesterday and the food was delicious. Merida had vegan restaurants, but their food there is not very good at all. So Playa del Carmen has some really nice restaurants that I'm, like I said, excited about checking out. So that is me. This is the Wednesday AM. I'm calling it the mindful writing circle because I think the word mindful resonates with more people than using the word meditative. So this is the Wednesday AM Mindful Writing Circle. We're a group of writers and creative people in general who like to be able to build a creative wellness habit. And our overall goal is to live a life worth writing about. And so the circle exists to help us to be able to do three things. We want to enhance our writing practice through self-awareness. We also want to nurture our creativity to be able to create healthy habits. And we want to be able to create life experiences that are meaningful to us. And I also wanted to explain that somebody had asked me, like, do I need to be a professional writer in order to be a part of the group? It's for anyone, whether you're a person who just likes to journal, you like to journal at home, or somebody who wants to actually improve your writing so that you can become a professional writer. It's for writers in general, anyone who wants to write, be creative in general. You're welcome here. The practice of meditation and mindfulness will help you to be able to be more thoughtful about what it is that you're writing about, whether you're writing for introspective purposes, or you're writing, a story of your life, or if you write fiction or whatever it is that you'd like to be able to do with your writing. Being more thoughtful about how you think and what you like to do with your writing will help to improve your writing overall. I see Miss Carolyn. Thank you so much for coming in early in the morning.
Yes, thank you for having me. That's a one. I'm on the move, so I'm not going to turn on my camera, and I'm gonna go
Okay, no
on mute.
problem.
Okay.
No problem at all.
Mm-hmm.
So today's topic, we are talking about how to ease your mind of worry and anxiety. And I was sort of, excuse me, I was led to be able to do this particular topic today because of what I saw going on a few days before the eclipse. There was just a lot of fear mongering and stuff going on the internet, and I was just thinking about how much energy people lose participating in conversations that really don't make sense, particularly when it comes to particularly when it comes to social media. You know, and it doesn't have to only apply to the eclipse. It could apply to any conversations that go on social media. It could apply to dating and relationships. That's another big thing that's going on the internet, on who you're supposed to date, who you're allowed to date, who has who has enough money to date you. All you have your own rules and about who it is that you would like to date, but do you have to participate in every single one of these conversations that happen on the internet? I don't really think that we think about our own energy as really being a currency that we really spend. And then when we think about it, when it's time for us to spend our energy on things that really we want to be able to use to be able to improve our lives, change our lives, to put it towards projects that will benefit us, we don't have the time, the energy, or anything to be able to put towards it, simply because we put it in areas on social media or towards other people that really don't make any sense. We can also apply this to thinking about, news events. We think about the economy. We can think about, elections that are coming up. That's another big one. The way you decide that you want to be able to think about how you think about your health, who's a vegan and who's not a vegan. All these conversations are absolutely ridiculous. Go find a space where you feel like, your words would be important or where it would matter, and leave a lot of the other arguing and things alone. So people are just really easily swayed by opinions on Facebook and other spaces on social media. You'll find that people share a lot of anxious memes, just sort of really engaging on posts that are really just not productive. And I don't think that we really think about anxiety as something that we create our own anxiety. And I used to be a person that had horrible, absolutely horrible anxiety. And it's only years later now when I think about it that I realized that I created a lot of the anxiety that I was going through. And at the time, when I read things about anxiety or people told me, well, what are you doing that's creating the anxiety? It kind of pissed me off. And I'm like, oh, who are you gonna tell me? Like I'm trying to explain that I'm sick and you're gonna tell me I'm creating this? And now I get it. We do create our own anxiety just because of what it is that we are thinking about. When your mind is not in the present state, if you're thinking about things that are in the past too much, that usually tends to create some sort of a depression. This doesn't mean that, we're all always responsible for our depression or that there's other things that can't be going on in our minds to cause a depression. But if you spend a lot of time in the past, that does create a lot of depression or depressing thoughts. And if your mind is thinking too far ahead in the future, you're worried about what's going on in the future, that can create a lot of anxiety as well. And so anxiety sort of feels like, a lot of shortness of breath. You have a quickened heartbeat that really just sort of feels out of your control. And so the reason that we like to be able to meditate is to help us to be able to slow down and focus on the present moment, to really remind us that we are safe. We're safe here in the present moment. If if your mind is too far focused on other things that don't matter, if you're thinking about too much about things that are too far ahead in the future, that's really what's helping us to cause our anxiety. And we can't be our most creative selves when we have a mind that's really filled with a lot of worry, and our thoughts go right to a level of survival level thinking, which really gives us a repeat of the things that we've already experienced before. It's like we keep living the same day over and over again, and we feel like, we're wondering why it is that we can't get out of it. It's because you're using the same level of thinking that's getting you into the anxiety is something that you have on repeat all the time. You haven't figured out how to be able to get out of that. And so it's hard for us to be able to change our lives when you're stuck in this, making the same survival level decisions on a day-to-day basis. So it's important for us to be able to know who we are and what it is that we believe and what it is that we came here to be able to accomplish. And so I just wrote down a few things that I thought about how to be able to get out of a life of worry and anxiety. And the first thing is to be able to pick and choose who you want to be able to talk to on social media. When you make a post or you respond to a post, all of that is expending energy. And we talked a little bit about that already. Your energy is really your currency. You get to pay attention to where you spend your energy. And so just like you would use cash, just like you use cash on things that are not useful, you can also spend your energy on things that are not useful. You spend your money on things that are not useful. You spend your energy on things that are not useful, and you don't be surprised when you don't get anything in return. And one of the things that I noticed on social media is that people respond a lot to things that I don't think people realize that are bots, which are not even like real people. In particular, what I think is really popular, like when women say things about, what they're doing in their lives, or if they're proud or doing something or something that's usually against the norm, there's some random dude who sort of shows up and he has some sort of side comment about, how women shouldn't be doing this, that, and the other thing. And I really think that these things are bots. I don't think that these are real men. But we put all of this extra energy into responding to people who should otherwise just be blocked. Like, why are we responding to people who number one, we often don't know these people. We don't know these people. So why are we choosing to engage in conversation with people that we don't know? And then they just sort of randomly showed up and popped up and because what I'm finding is that it's really just sort of puts people off of what it is that they're normally doing. Then they have to make a whole new post about how this man made the comment and now, they can't go on with their day. It doesn't make any sense. Choose where you spend your energy is what I'm saying. Block people who, you don't want to be there, or just choose to not respond to them and just let it be. The second thing is that it's possible to be able to shift your energy with writing. I like to be able to use lists to be able to help me to organize my mind. It's really like looking at, like if you look at a well-organized pantry, writing lists for me is really just sort of the same thing. It helps me to organize what's going on in my mind. So one of the things that I really love to do, for me to be able to organize what I'm worried about and what I'm not worried about, is I would just take a piece of paper, and at the top of the page, I will put whatever the particular thing is that I'm worried about. And it could just be a couple of lines about what it is that I'm worried about and why. And then I will draw a circle. And then within the circle, I will put what it is I can control about this situation. And then I'll, just list it 1, 2, 3. These are the things that I can control about this particular situation. On the outside of the circle, I will write things I cannot control, things that are completely out of my control. No matter what I did with this, I can't control the outcome of this particular worry. And what that actually does, it helps me to refocus my mind on where it is that I need to spend my energy. That way, the problem doesn't feel so big anymore. And I can sort of focus on the things that I can do. And, and then you actually put the energy into doing those things that you can do. And then with the other stuff that you can't do anything about, that stuff sort of takes care of itself over time. But what you've done is you've sort of refocused your mind so that you're not so anxious about stuff that you can't do anything about anyway. You've done your part. We need to be able to feel like we've put our time and energy into something that sort of matters to us, and leave the other things alone. And so writing things in that sort of list format really helps me to be able to calm myself down in a way. And the third thing is to simply be aware of when worry is kicking up. It goes, like, worry is sort of like a downward spiral, and you can use meditation to be able to help you be aware and stop it in its tracks. You get to use your language to speak yourself, to remind to yourself, to ease your worrisome thoughts. And it sort of feels weird at first, but this is how you reprogram the subconscious mind so that your own voice becomes louder than the ones that you are listening to. We spend too much time, particularly on social media, listening to other people's voices and not enough time listening to our own. And so it's important to use meditation to be able to really sit down and think about, just to become more aware of what thoughts belong to ourselves and which ones were just sort of planted in our mind from some other space. And it could be, so, you know, it could be your parents' voice telling you things that are not true about your life as an adult now, that may or may not have been true for you as a child. But of course, we all grow up, we learn to do other things with our adult lives. And what your parents told you or trained you to do while you were a child may not apply to you as an adult anymore. But we never really take the time to be able to figure out that particular thought doesn't work for me anymore, and I want to think something different. So meditation is really helpful for thinking about who you are now in this present stage of life, and what it is that you believe, what you want, what you choose to believe. We all get to be able to choose what it is or who it is that we want to believe in, to be able to make our lives work for ourselves. So I actually wanted to do a meditation to help us to be able to think about how to be able to ease our anxiety and our worry so that we can start to think about what's important to us and what isn't important to us. And we'll do that for probably about 5 to 7 minutes. So what I'm going to do, like I always do, is I stop the video when we get to the portion for the meditation. And what's really important when you start to do your meditation is that we like to be able to sit in a space that's really comfortable for us. And so what that generally means is that you can, you know, sort of sit yourself in a chair that's sort of comfortable for you. You want to be able to sit with your back straight, but not too entirely straight that, you know, you feel pain or discomfort. You want to feel comfortable enough to be able to have a conversation or even to be able to sit back and watch television if that's what you want to be able to do. The bottom of your feet should be flat on the floor. And you can just start to, you know, sort of fiddle around in the chair and just think, you know, is my neck comfortable? Roll your shoulders around. Roll your shoulders around in a way that feels comfortable for you. As far as your hand placement is concerned, you can sort of place the palms of your hands on your knees, or you can place your hands in an upward, your palms in an upward position, in a receiving position, if that feels more natural for you. And what you want to do, if it feels safe for you, is you can close your eyes completely. For those who don't feel so comfortable closing their eyes for meditation, you can just sort of soften your gaze a bit, which means you slightly close your eyes just a little bit. So you can sort of peek out still, so that you're telling your mind to sort of relax and just sort of yeah, relax your thoughts for a few minutes without having to close your eyes completely. And one of the things that I like to do is I start to sharpen my awareness from this point. And I sort of start with my taking note of the senses, of my five senses and what's in my immediate surrounding before I actually delve into what's going on within myself. And so I think of what do I hear in my immediate surroundings? What are you hearing in your immediate surroundings? You might hear birds, or you might hear other people moving around. You might hear the hum of the machines, like the refrigerator. What are you hearing in your immediate surroundings? Then we can move on to touch. What are you feeling in your immediate surroundings? How does the air feel against your skin? When you touch your hands to your knees, what does that feel like? And as you're checking in with your five senses, you should start to feel yourself sort of come down as we focus on the present moment. What do you smell in your immediate area? What do you smell in your immediate area? Is there some sort of a essential oil or some sort of a lotion that you've used today? Maybe it's cleaning products. What does the air smell like? What do you taste? What do you taste in your mouth as you are breathing in? Perhaps it's the taste of toothpaste in your mouth. Maybe you've already had breakfast and you've got the lingering taste of whatever you've eaten for breakfast or had something to drink today. What is the taste in your mouth? Finally, we can pay attention to what it is that we see. And even if with our eyes closed, or even if you are doing a soft gaze, you can still see things within your mind's eye. So what do you see when you close your eyes? For me, it's I see a pitch black And the blackness just sort of starts to become deeper the longer I keep my eyes closed. For others, you may be seeing whatever the last thing that you were thinking about. You might be seeing some bits of light that are coming through your eyelids. What do you see with your eyes? And when you're sitting there, just being aware of your five senses. You can start to focus at this point on your breath. Bring your attention to your breath and how it is that you are breathing in this moment. Is your breath as quick and short as you may have started the morning, rushing to make it to this particular Zoom call? Or is your breath more light and even spaced? And there's really no right or wrong answer here for what it is that your breath and what it is that you're supposed to be feeling when you go through your senses. The point is to help us to become more aware of what it is that we are feeling and seeing and how it is that we are breathing. And we look at that with no judgment. We're just making a note within ourselves of what it is that we are doing, how it is that we are behaving. So now we want to be able to focus on just more purposeful breathing and see where that takes us. And so we want to be able to take in, we'll do 3 deep breaths. So that we can help us to relax even further into the moment. So we'll breathe in for 4, hold it for 3, and then release for another 4. So 4, 3, 4. And so we'll breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it 1, 2, 3. Release 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll try that 2 more times. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Then release. 2, 3, 4. We'll try it one last time. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Then release. 1, 2, 3, 4. And with that breath, just take note of what your shoulders feel like. Are your shoulders just sort of dropped a little bit more? It's a little bit more of the tension in your neck been released a little bit. Does it get a little bit darker behind your eyes? Or maybe you were able to close your eyes if you're one of those people who didn't close your eyes all the way. Maybe you trusted the moment a little bit further so that you can close your eyes and allow yourself permission to relax. What about the tension in your back? Has it been relieved a little bit more? How does your stomach feel? Are you still holding on to your breath in your stomach, or have you allowed your stomach muscles to relax a bit? And as we allow the worry to be released, whatever worries we came into our session today with, we can close our meditation with an affirmation saying that I trust myself. I trust myself. And when you're ready, if you'd like to, you can cut your video back on. And if you like, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the meditation or the topic of our session for today. I usually do shorter meditations, but today I felt like I just wanted to do something a little bit longer. Is there any sort of a difference in how you feel now versus when you started?
Yes, I feel more relaxed
Yeah, I'm more relaxed
and
also.
serene.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I certainly feel freer. Like I always
Freer.
have a lot, well, I don't have a lot of anxiety in the morning, but sometimes I do because when I arrive here to work, I feel like my time is taken away from me. Like, of course it is, because I have to lend it to a job, but it just feels so invasive first thing in the morning, and so
Mhm.
it really calms me down and allow me to like let those thoughts go and just prepare for whatever happens.
Mhm. That's good. I thought it's interesting that you felt you're using the word invasive. And so the meditation is a good way for you to be able to take your time back. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone
I
else?
felt that my shoulders were up, and that
Mhm.
really surprised me that it took me a lot of time to
Mhm.
get my shoulders to come down.
Yeah. We hold a lot of tension in our shoulders, in our shoulder muscles. So when we purposely sort of sit down and, you know, help ourselves to relax, that's really helpful for us to not be so worrisome or to hang on to anxiety. So yeah, so really just taking time to notice what your shoulders are doing to help yourself to be able to release some of that tension and energy that we hold. Because I hold a lot of tension and energy here in my shoulders as well. So I have to use meditation just to be able to get rid of it. Because otherwise you're sort of walking through your life kind of like this on alert all the time. And you know, that might be fine for an hour or two, maybe a few days, but then those days turn into weeks and months. And for many of us, years. Many of us have never really paid any attention to where it is that we hold stress. Um, we don't pay attention to it until we have some sort of a health issue, a health emergency. And so we can sort of, if we start to think about where we're holding stress or where it is that we might be feeling pain, um, or where there's some sort of abnormality, we never bother to even check in with our bodies to be able to see what we feel like because we're too busy focused on places that we don't like to be or around people that we don't want to be around or filling our brains with, you know, commentary and things that really don't matter. So the point of the meditation is to really be able to return our energy to ourselves. That's really what we like to do so that we can put our energy into things that are more productive, things that we actually came to the earth to be able to produce. Whether it's your writing or other creative projects that you would like to do. If there are things in your life that you would like to be able to change, perhaps you want to be able to get a new job. Maybe you want to start a new business. Maybe there's a book that you want to be able to write. Maybe there's a volunteer project that you want to be able to get into. That's really the point of the meditation. A lot of people think that meditation is really about, seeing who could meditate the longest, who could sit for an hour with the back straight and be quiet. And you can do those things if you want to, if you're training to be a monk. But for the most of us, everybody else, we have to participate in the world. And so we need to be able to use these tools to be able to help us to participate in the life that we decided that we want to create for ourselves. So that's really the whole purpose of the mindful writing circle, for us to be able to learn how to use meditation to be able to be more creative as a writer, and to be able to create the life that we want to be able to create for ourselves. So let's see, it's 40 minutes past the hour. We can go ahead and do the journaling questions, which is also, Jamila says, excellent points. Thank you. The journaling questions for today. So how the journaling questions work is that we have 5 minutes. There's 3 questions, so we'll do 5 minutes per question. And there, I like to do the journaling questions after the meditation, simply because we're in a point where we are paying more attention to what's going on in our bodies. And so it helps us to be a bit more introspective, and that we can take those journaling questions, we can write down our thoughts, and then we can just sort of act on what it is that we thought about during our journaling questions. So let me go to my timer here. And so the first question is, I am anxious when ... I am anxious when ... Okay, so that was question. That was question number one. I am anxious when. The second question is, whose voice am I hearing when I am anxious? And then describe the voice. Whose voice am I hearing when I am anxious? And then describe the voice. All right, that was, excuse me, question number 2. Number 3 is, what experience will help you feel less anxious? What experience will help you feel less anxious? All right, that is question number 3. I see you, Kathy. Thank you. All right, so we have a good 4 or 5 minutes. If anybody wants to share anything that they've written, or if they just want to sort of give us the gist of what they've written, I would love to hear it. Miss Carolyn has shared a few of her pieces here in the chat today because she's on the move.
I just wanted to say per question too, it was kind of
Mhm.
eye-opening because initially I wrote some things, and then once you moved on to question 3 and I was prepared to write that, I thought about something else that
Mhm.
resonated with question 2, and I went back and jotted that down. And so So whose voice am I hearing when I'm anxious? And describe the voice. It's my own voice that I hear.
Mhm.
But instead of the love and light side of me, it's the darker side. And she
Mm.
sounds nitpicky and mean spirited, accusatory. She's the voice of guilt and doubt.
Mhm.
Um, and then what I went back and wrote was, it's the voice of my mother when she was being mean to me as a child.
Mhm.
So just thought I'd share that.
Yeah, I get that because it's a pretty similar thing for me that when my most accusatory voice that I learned to speak myself with often was also the voice of my mother. She was a very she loved me also, but she was also very she could be very spirited towards me sometimes and sort of nitpicking about what I looked like and what I was doing and all sorts of other things. But that was also because she did the same thing towards herself, and her mom probably did the same thing. And it did, it's just it's a cycle that goes on, and we do these things without thinking about it, which is
Exactly.
why meditation is so important. It's really important for us to be able to create a voice that is kind and loving towards ourselves. Because if we don't learn how to do those things for ourselves, we won't get it anywhere.
Right.
You know.
And I purposely made sure that I broke like that generational curse, so to speak, when
Mhm.
I was rearing my daughter. I would
Mhm.
always speak loving things to her and empower her
Mhm.
with my words instead of picking at every little thing she was doing that was wrong or whatever. So
Mhm.
it's possible to break those generational curses, so to speak.
Yeah, so she'll have high self-esteem when she goes out into the world, and she'll learn how to speak to herself kindly and with more compassion. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. That's so important. Anybody else? Miss Carolyn, I love that you said you use water as you said, I use water as my magic wand. It can be a bubble bath, a ride on the ferry, just a quiet day by the water. I actually did that yesterday. As I
Nice.
shared earlier that I'm in Playa del Carmen in Mexico, which is by the beach. So I spent a few hours just sitting and watching the water yesterday. And so that was
So
really
nice.
nice to be able to sit and watch the water.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so let's see, it's the top of the hour now. So I wanted to remind the people who watch the replay to like, subscribe, um, and share the video. If you would like to be able to be informed of when the next um, Mindful Writing Circle is, you need to join the email list, and the link to join the email list is in the description. So thank you all for coming. I hope you all have a nice day. Take the energy from this circle and hopefully it'll help you throughout the rest of your day.
You've made my day. Thank you.
You as well. Everyone have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you for a wonderful start of the morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Charlie. I hope you come back next week.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.